good evening, no matter where you're calling from or watching from. I'm like calling, like I went right back to radio, y'all. I went all the way back, like you can't see me, like I was invisible. You know how back in the day when you just hear the radio voice and it was just, thank you for tuning in. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Chicken Box. Maybe you're not looking at the screen, maybe just having the audio portion of it. Some people audio and some people are visual. I'm Kevin Impeccable Peck. I'm feeling audio and visual today, I think. Courtney, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm blessed to be here. It's an amazing day, and I'm excited to join in on this discussion. How are you?
Man, we're talking about Black Business Matters, okay? We're talking about the third annual Black Business Matters conference, and we're talking about Black people versus small business. Small business doesn't mean that you're small all the time. It just means that you're classified as small, but we're going to get into it and see really what small business is. Are you ready to start your business? Have you started your business? Do you have all the capital you need? We have some partners coming in today who are going to be part of, the Black Business Matters Conference. I'm excited. It's going to be the first year since the pandemic that we're going to be hybrid. It's going to be live in a part, and it's going to be virtual. So, it's going to be some, it's not enough space to get 10,000 people in there live, but we're going to have some movers and shakers who are going to come live. They're going to come on the screen. And yes, we have a new platform, afrotix.live. It is free, y'all. When do you say, somebody say free?
Free.
It's not really free, but we have partners and sponsors like Chase who are going to come in and really help make it free for you because they care about the community. They spend their money where their mouth is, and they are actually partnering with us in this Black business. Oh, somebody said free. All right. Craig and Danye. I've been asking for these sound effects. Here they come, people. We're going to have some fun today. This is the Chicken Box. This is where you get a chance to speak your truth. We're speaking our truth about small business today and about the Black Business Matters Conference. But if you're from Baltimore, it is 4 wings and fries. It is lunchtime, quote unquote, whatever lunchtime is, all around the country. And in Baltimore, though, a chicken box is 4 wings and fries. That's right. 4 fried wings. I don't even eat fried. Maybe throw them in the air fryer, and then you can just put some salt and pepper. Some people like hot sauce. Some people like ketchup. It's in the box. The box gets nice and greasy. Your hands get greasy, but it's a staple. Sometimes you mix some sweet tea with some lemonade and you got it going on. But let's get right into small business. Let's get our first guest. Courtney, are you ready to introduce our guests?
Yes, I am. Everyone, welcome Petite, Homme. He's the vice president and senior business consultant for Chase in Baltimore, Maryland. He has over 3 years of experience at Chase and 20 years in financial services. As a senior business consultant, his goal is to work closely with minority small business owners to support growing their business through accessible education, coaching, and banking solutions.
Courtney,
welcome to the Chicken
Thanks
Box.
a lot. Thank you for having me.
Get your name right, because where you from again, my brother?
I'm originally from Haiti.
From Haiti, welcome to
right, correct. Thank you so much.
Yes, from Haiti, and
thank you.
Pronounce the name because I know others. You're gonna help me because we don't know too many Hans. In the hood, you just don't know it. But just pronounce your name one more time.
Yeah, it's Hans. Last name in French is Petite, but in the English language we say Petite Homme.
See that, y'all. How many of y'all can speak 2 languages? We need to be Black people versus languages one day, because here in the United States, it seems like we're the laziest country. If you travel the world, everybody knows at least 1 or 2 different languages. Here, we like English and Ebonics, maybe. That might be the other thing. But we're excited about Black people versus small business. Here's our CEO now, coming in probably on her Learjet from another meeting. Good afternoon, Dr. Draper.
Good afternoon, everyone who's here in the box and on the box. So good to see you.
All right, well, we're getting right into it. Meet Hans.
Hi, Dr. Draper. How are you?
Well, Dr. Draper used to speak French, I heard, or teach French or something.
Yeah, a million years ago. So we'll try it on Petite Homme.
There you go.
You should have put the sound effect for that one, because I'm going to have to call him Hans. I'm thinking about Hans. I'm talking about Han Solo. I'm thinking of everything in my mind. You were thinking it too, don't? So let's get into small business and JP Morgan. JP Morgan Chase. Thank you again for being a partner with us in the Black Business Matters Conference. We're looking forward to just a great event of sharing and just stimulating the minds, because everything about business is just an idea that can transform into a reality. But you have to take some steps and make some moves, and occasionally you need some capital. Let's say that one more time. We need some capital sometimes to get these brilliant ideas off the ground. We can repay our loans and we can take our business to a next level. And that's what a partnership looks like. So what do you do at JP Morgan Chase? What's your role, Hans?
Yeah. So my primary role, as Courtney mentioned, is to work with minority small businesses. Right. This program is part of a $30 billion commitment that we as a firm made a little bit over 2.5 years ago to really drive impact in education and provide resources to the minority small women and women-owned communities. So in a nutshell, we know through data and research, there's 5 key areas that a lot of businesses struggle with. Of course, the big elephant in the room is always capital, right? So through our workshops, we'll work one-on-one with the executives of the businesses. So we'll sit down with them. We'll go through a 3 to 6 months program, and there's 5 areas we focus on. 1, access to capital. Right. So it's an education. We teach you what capital really means: traditional banking, non-traditional banking, grant opportunities. And then we help you prepare the right documents to approach a bank and seek the capital you need. We also focus on cash flow. Right. We call it money in, money out. All right. So we want to understand how money flows through your business, because it's imperative that you set your business up for success. So at the end of the month, when the bills are due, you have enough cash flow to cover your expenses. We also focus on, which a topic I love, is operations, right? What's the mission of the business? What's the vision? How you plan on driving impact to the community and your clients? So we help you uncover, strategic operations, help you create a business plans, help you organize your structure, right? Help you create business resiliency. We just had one of the biggest impact from the world perspective when it came to COVID. A lot of businesses couldn't survive. So we help you plan ahead, plan for the future. I like to call it the vision. Think 5 years from today. Where do you see your business going? And then we work backwards to help you organize and create a plan. We also focus a lot on business development. Sometimes as business owners, we focus on what's in front of us. But we use industry data, we use statistics, we use research and say, other companies in your industry are doing X and Y. Have you considered different revenue streams for your company? And then we lay a game plan and we help you organize and create those plans. And of course, no business can be successful on its own. So we educate you on developing a team of advisors, people outside your executive team who can be there to support you, to uplift you, to have conversations and keep you on track within your business. So I currently mentor about 68 businesses throughout the Baltimore County. My colleague Beth also does the same. And together as a firm, there's about 46 of us throughout the country, mentoring well over 2,000 businesses on a month-to-month basis.
Man, that's fantastic. Is that just in the Black community?
We focus on minority communities,
women-owned
businesses as well, because we want to drive impact. We want to drive change. I mean, we hear the callings all the time. We need support. Well, we're coming in to give you the full support, not only on our background, but also our knowledge of banking and the industries.
I don't know if you're business minded and you're paying attention. Hi, Joel. Thanks for tuning in. And everybody else who might be listening either now or on a replay. He just dropped 5 nuggets on you just now. Even if you don't have anybody helping you on them, you can look at those 5 things. Let me see. You said capital, right?
Correct.
Capital, cash flow.
Cash flow.
You said operations, meaning what's your vision? What's your mission, right? You can't go nowhere. The people perish for what? Anyway, I messed up. Lack of knowledge.
MPeckable. That's a mission.
Lack of knowledge, right? And then you said business development,
business development, right?
And
the program is free.
Free. All
It's
right.
a free
What's
program.
the word today? Free. Okay. Everybody
That's the
put in the
word
chat
today.
free
It's
one more
free.
time. Because free is, I mean, somebody must have sent you a blessing because sometimes you can't, it takes years of spinning around, starting a business, failing. You know, it used to be a statistic that 85% of businesses failed within the first year, I think it was, or
Yeah.
2 years. I don't know. No, I'm not I haven't looked at that number in a while. But that is an alarming number. And it's probably because these 5 things aren't in order.
Yeah. Right. And then, of course, we find out that the biggest issue is, most entrepreneurs want to do it alone.
Okay.
Right?
Let's get to that. All right.
Yeah.
We talk about Black people versus small businesses. So it's a lot of entrepreneurs, and you guys might be listening. Why do you think it is, Hans, that they want to do it alone?
One, it's the mindset, right? I mean, I grew up, looking and thinking about business, but I didn't have the consultant or the role model to kind of guide me through the direction. So as entrepreneurs, we feel let's tackle the issues ourselves, right? But I teach collaboration, right? I'll teach unity. It's the only way we'll be able to go from point A to point B. We need resources and we need support, and we need someone to kind of guide us in the direction of here's what I did that failed, that wasn't successful. Let's not go down this lane. Let's follow some courses that's been successful.
Unity and collaboration. What does that mean to you, Courtney, when you hear that? Courtney's out. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm representing the Gen X. For all my Gen Xers out there, you know what we do. Dr. Draper is a
What? A millennial boomer is what I said.
Okay, I'm gonna let you say it yourself. I didn't want to say it wrong.
A Gen Z / millennial boomer.
And Hans, I think me and you on the same page.
Yeah, we're the same. Yeah, I'm a Gen X as well.
X is strong. I mean, when those 4 corners connect, that's a strong X. I'm telling you. And Courtney is we're a multi-generational company, which we need collaboration and unity. But what does that mean to you, Courtney, when you think about it in terms of business?
To me, I think so. I've heard this so many times because a lot of times our pride can cloud our judgment, and we all need somebody to lean on. And as I get older, I'm realizing wow, that's really the truth. We can't do everything on our own. We need people. We need a community. It takes a village. So to me, I think we need to collaborate with each other because we can bounce ideas off of each other. Everyone doesn't always have all the answers. So that's a way that we can, unify and come together to create something bigger instead of thinking closed-minded. People, when we come together, it helps open your mind.
Absolutely. And Dr. Draper, as being the CEO of the oldest Black business in Maryland, the Afro-American newspaper, as well as the 3rd oldest in the country, what changes, what do you think was instilled that allowed us to last so long?
Well, the resiliency that the Afro has really was passed down from generation to generation. So we've defied the statistics as the older generations who started the enterprise understood that that businesses fail, especially family-owned businesses fail mostly because of disagreements over who's in charge. Right. And so they created a system to kind of take the air out of that. But back to your other question about collaboration, you can collaborate with a business that is not exactly your business, even though we're part of a collaboration at the Afro called Word in Black. 10 of the leading Black media, Black newspapers in the country have a collaboration. But in our business, for example, we provide content and we provide services that almost every business can use. And so I think when you think about collaboration, you have to think outside of what you do every day. Too many times we're working in the business, as it said, and not on the business. And so the trends, I'm so happy to hear Hans talk about some of the data and the analytics that they provide to those that they work with. Because so often we just miss the trends and we miss the forecasts because we're so busy working in the business. So we have people that'll come and say, let me help you do this. Or let me tell you how to do this. But it sounds like your program, and I'd like to find out a little bit more about it, not just tell people how to do it, but you walk alongside of small businesses and help them. Hans, can you define, because everybody doesn't have the same definition. How do you define a small business?
Well, to me, I mean, generic description is based on the SBA, any business under 2 years, right, or $15 million. Well, if you think about it, a business doing $100,000 is pretty significant, right? So when I think about small business, I think of anyone who is building a service or product that they can provide to the communities they serve. That's a small business. Whether it's your landscaper, whether it's your local restaurants, whether it's your local barber, that's a small business, right? So to follow along with you, Dr. Draper, when you think about, building that foundation and having those core principles, if we as a community, and when you define collaboration, think of the restaurants. They buying goods and supplies all the time, right? At different price points. But imagine that collaboration said, let's create a cooperative where now we pulling our funds, buying the same supplies, but in bulk, therefore decreasing what?
Right.
The actual cost of the supply.
Cost of goods sold, right?
There you go, right? So that's collaboration. And small businesses is all around us. We just got to come together and really sit down and evaluate how can we grow within the community, but also unite one another to grow.
How do people access the program that you lead? How do people?
Yeah, there it goes. If you click on the link, regardless of where you're located, right, one of our consultants will reach out to you. We'll understand where you are today in business. We'll guide you. We'll help you, and it will enroll you in the program.
So when you say regardless, is that anywhere in the United States?
Anywhere in the United States.
Man, we moving, y'all. We streaming from Baltimore to Hollywood. You can get help, right? You can get help. Craig Tower asked the question: can a business be a startup, or do they have to be in business for a certain number of years? Let's explain startup, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I guess startups usually businesses under 2 years, don't really have traction, don't have any past performance history, right? They looking to see, where they can go with their business. So we do have resources, whether it's to create a business plan, how to set up your business structure, how to set up your business operation. So we do have information for startups as well. And once you go on the link, we even have videos and tutorials that teach you how to even set up your organization.
What? Man, all of these resources. Well, if we ain't do the chicken box today, I don't know what. Well, you might just be ahead in business just by just going to that link. Even before you speak to an advisor, you can dive into the information. They say everything that you want is in the question. All the answers. You just have to know how to ask the right question. Even when you're doing a search. You ever notice that? All right, here we go. This is what the website looks like. Even when you're doing a search, you have to really know how to ask the right questions. And as you are a new entrepreneur, Hans, would you say you help them ask the right questions to make sure they even should be in business, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the rubber meets the road, right? Let's really dive into why you're in business, what you're looking to create. And sometimes it may be just a different direction that can really impact your business.
So, Han, do you find that sometimes businesses of any size have a hard time scaling?
Yeah, I mean, scaling is always, on the top of the conversations. And scaling could be different depending on the business and the industry. But one thing I always say is you have to know why you want to scale. And secondly, take care of home. Before you scale, let's consider where you currently are now. Do you have the cash flow to scale? Do you have the game plan to scale? Can you duplicate your current success to scale? Because you can say you want to scale, but then if you have 1,000 orders overnight, can you fulfill that? Right. So we got to create a game plan first prior to thinking about scaling.
1,000 orders. Everybody's thinking about it now. What can we do if Walmart says we want your product and we need it fast? So, all right, let's just say we do have that invention, Hans. So somebody out there has that invention. will a PO or something from one of these big label stores, will that help with some much needed cash flow if you needed it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We always encourage everyone, if you come across a need for a cash flow and you have a project, reach out to your banker. Sit down with your banker and share with them the vision that you have. Let them know I have a huge PO from Walmart, right? That's guaranteed for 1, 2, 3, whatever the amount of the years it is. And then together with your banker, right? That relationship matters. Together with your banker, you guys will create a plan to help you get the funding you need, to fulfill that PO. There's multiple options out there. We just have to sit down, right, and understand where we're looking to go and have the banker support to teach you and guide you through that process.
That's right. So go ahead, Dr.
I'm saying, so you gave us those 5 areas that you focus on. What do you find? And I don't know, I don't want to generalize, but maybe is there a common denominator that you find with minority businesses that say, if we could just get past, I'm not talking about access to capital, but anything else that we might have in our mindset, in our history, in our experience that you find it's like textbook, it's over and over and over again that you find?
If you think about this, you can just walk into any minority operation, right? It's always either the owner or the executive doing majority of the work. The hardest thing that I've come across over the last year mentoring clients is the ability or the willingness to let go and delegate responsibilities, right? We do every single thing in the business, which is wonderful. We know how in and out of business, but we have to be willing to delegate responsibilities and focus on what drives the revenue for the business. And if you're not great at driving revenue, let's look into hiring or partnering with someone to bring in that development side of the business to help you drive revenue. So delegation is been something that it's very hard for us to let go of our babies, we want to call it, but sometimes they got to fall, right? So we want to make sure that we have the willingness to delegate responsibilities so we can focus on what really drives the business going forward.
So we helicopter entrepreneurs, huh? We're just like we won't let the baby go out to the playground without holding a hand. They can't walk 2 steps without us. We have to be in every single detail of the business, and that is killing us. That's killing our business, y'all.
Yep, not me. Okay, that's. But I have an advantage, I think, and you may want to speak to this. A lot of times when people start a business or they're second generation in a business, that's all they've done. Mm-hmm. That's it. They've been in that business their whole adult life, and it's hard to let go. So sometimes I advise people, I don't know what you think about this, but do something else first. Have some other experience in the industry or in a even in a competitive, but do something else, then come back to your family. What do you think about that?
No, I think that's a phenomenal recommendation, right? And then one thing that we take for granted at times is transferable skills, right? I was just speaking to a mentee about this who's been in the admin space and operation for 27 years. So they've launched their business a couple of years ago, but they were having the difficulty of grasping the idea that you are not new at this. You have 27 years of experience. Let's transfer those skills over to your business. And then we had an aha moment, right? So that's why we do the program. We sit down, we do a SWOT analysis. We look at the strengths, not only of the business, but the individuals running the business. We help you identify the clear strengths that you have and how it relates to your business. On the opposite side, we also look at the weaknesses. You may be weak in one category that doesn't transfer well to the business. How do we mitigate that? How do we bring on additional responsibilities to strengthen that weakness to give you a full circle when it comes to, a foundation of your business?
So it may be an entrepreneur who maybe never went to business school, who never heard these terms before. He said SWOT, you guys, which is just an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And a lot of people do, like Han said, a SWOT analysis so that they can really do what they do best. And then what they don't do well, hire somebody else. Just partner with somebody else. And I know I can say I've been guilty. I'm gonna get on the box real quick. I probably started a number of businesses, and in the beginning, what I didn't pay attention to a lot was the accounting. Do you find that with the entrepreneurs?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Come tax time, they're looking silly in the face. They never heard of something called estimated taxes. They've gone down. They know how to get their name from from wherever they get the name from with the state, and then they know how to get a URL, right? And then, but that is covered probably in the operations, right? Or in the business.
It is, and then within the operation, we talk about branding, right? I see a lot of entrepreneurs with a Gmail account, right? Nothing against that, but if you're building a brand, set up your brand, set up the foundation of your brand, right?
Yeah.
Little things like this will definitely help. And the CPA question comes up a lot. Find a CPA. I understand you could do your tax on your own. That's wonderful. Find a CPA because they'll guide you on the change of the laws. A CPA will keep track, sometimes better than you can, of your numbers. So if we come across a situation where there's a grant opportunity that requests financials, you have those documents.
Absolutely. Because you hear about, can you speak a little bit on business credit as you talk about these documents?
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to business credit, and we cover that in the access to capital as well as the cash flow. So we always look at past history, right? What has the business done? And then we'll require financial documents, right? It has to be, on data. What's not included in the documents is not counted. So as business owners, we got to keep that in mind. Are we reporting what we make to assist us in advancing in the future? So we'll look at the financial taxes. We'll look at the profit and loss statements, right? We'll look at the accounts receivables and accounts payables. And not only that too, we'll sit down with you and explain to you how they work. So you can be aware of not only your numbers, but your projected forecast going forward in the future to better prepare you. So when you do sit with the banker and you're looking for financing, you know exactly what you need. And then you're able to move forward.
Can you drop that URL, that website one more time, Taryn? If you just tuned in, go and you're looking to get some, if you started your business already or you're thinking about starting, go right here to chase.com/business/minority business. It is a resource. I wish I had found out about this 20 years ago. A lot of things come through hard knocks, but you can accelerate. I think Dion said, if you want to go slow, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah,
I love it. So
I love that.
So I want to add also. So this week's edition we still do a print edition because there's some advertising requirements for legal notices. If it's not in print, it can't go. But anyway, we still do a print edition, and people sometimes really love it. Print. People have their various preferences, even though we're very pro digital. But this is our Black Business Matters edition. And so one of the articles that we have there, and I just want to get your take on this, is about the fact that sometimes we're working so hard in our businesses, not on our businesses, that we don't keep up with all of the trends. And so one thing that Ben Jealous talks about in a commentary is our understanding of ESG. Do you find that that's a barrier? Not a barrier. Do you find that that's true, that a lot of businesses, small and minority businesses, don't think about that as part of our business models?
They don't. As you mentioned,
maybe I'm using an acronym, so maybe if you want to talk about the environmental, social, and governmental, impact on our business.
Yeah. So first, environmental, right? And of course, the insights we provide to our business talks about that, where we look at not only current data, but current news to see how it can impact your business, right? We look at the social economics side of things, right? If something happens within the community, does it impact your business for the positive or the negative? And if it does, how do you mitigate that? And of course, government, right? If the state of Maryland decides to raise business taxes or lower business taxes, what's the impact? If there's a new law in place when it comes to if you're doing international trading, how does that impact your business? So we spend a lot of time on our business. That's why I encourage all entrepreneurs and business owners to run your business every 90 days. So in case you create a strategy, you get a chance to look at the 90-day history to see, was it effective? Did it create impact? Did it solve what you're looking to do? In addition to that, we always say, take a time out and understand your industry. If we have a blockage with transportation, does that impact your goods? And if it does, are you prepared to pay the additional costs of acquiring those goods to keep your business afloat? So we got to have a game plan, not only plan A, B, and C, but we got to have a game plan overall to really keep our business, floating and moving along to the next. So we have to pay attention to every aspect, not only within our business, but outside of businesses as well.
So if I understand you correctly, we're paying attention to not just the financial risks, but we're paying attention to the non-financial risks, things that are probably not even things that aren't under our control, but we're mapping those out for not just contingency planning. And if COVID didn't teach us anything else, the non-financial risks are huge. Okay.
Yeah. That's one thing that COVID taught all of us, right? I want to take care of our health, of course, but also if we have a business, brace ourselves for future impacts, right? And do we have a solid plan? Are we able to transition to go from a retail space to online to buffer, the non-walking traffics? If so, what does that look like? Again, that's all about creating strategies. The major corporations do it all the time. And I encourage everyone, if you have a business, have a corporate crush, someone in the industry that you look up to and follow their systems, their processes, and then see how you can duplicate that at a smaller scale to assist your business in growing, towards the $1 million to $10 million that you desire.
Han said a corporate crush, y'all. That's the only time you can stalk somebody, right? It's on your corporate crush. You can see what they're doing. If you just tuned in, this is the Chicken Box. We're dealing with Black people versus small business. We have our special guest from JP Morgan Chase, who is one of our sponsors. Did y'all not hear? This is the 3rd annual Black Business Matters Conference. Let me see. I've been trying to see if this will come up, and let me know if you guys can hear this. Let's see. Here's a brief promo. Can you hear it?
It's a little low, Kevin.
I was dancing in the rain when you counted me out. Heard the weird things you was talking about, but we've been up, down, over the hill and through the ringer. Heart of a wild pit with the soul of a singer. Let my fingers touch paper that you wanted me not to. You watching top tier, don't watch you. We rockin' in the sphere, only feel it stop you. Dedicated from the bottom to the ceiling, I shot through the shot. I wanted it all, I hadn't earned it. Love was a lesson, I hadn't learned it. Took your blueprint and burned it. Now the page that I'm on there and able to turn it, yes. Give me my rose before the box drop. Give me my villa, give me my drop top. A little high class on the sock top, and I'ma keep on writing for freedom like I'm a gin pop.
Hey, did we mention that it was free, y'all? Did we mention that it's free? Come on, go to afrotix.live. Even if it's not for you, go register for your child, your grandmother. It is for all ages. It is never. Everybody has an idea. They want to sell T-shirts. Somebody's always telling me. Time I run into them, I'm about to start this. I'm about to do this. Let's call JP Morgan Chase. Let's get in touch with Hans's office. Let's get the information first. Let's not be so anxious to rush out there, and then we have to go backwards to learn. Let's learn a little bit something first. Then let's go out there strong, and then you'll hit past the 2-year mark. You have some revenue, you have some business credit, you have some knowledge, and you will be winning with a team of collaboration, right? With a vision.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, so please register. Please register. Now we're imploring you this because we're bringing you this. We're not doing this because we just have nothing else to do. We are the oldest Black business in Maryland, 130 years, which means we know a little bit about something about staying in business past that 2 year mark. And our partners, they definitely know about staying in business longer than 2 years as well. So do you think you could just sit in the room and just be quiet for a second and listen, and then maybe say, get your questions answered directly? You can see resources that you didn't even know existed. You can have impact in your business and in your community, all from one conference. I'm so excited. When is this thing? This is next week. This is April the 27th. God willing, we make it that long, and it's gonna be phenomenal. I'm looking forward to just the technology of. We're gonna have like maybe the governor's, the first lady. I don't know who's coming in the building. Dr. Draper.
Well, it's yeah. I don't know who's coming in, and people will be able to view virtually. So Hans,
is Hans coming?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna come and learn. I'm gonna come in. Sit
I'm coming
down,
through the screen, Hans. I'll meet you in Baltimore. I'm in Atlanta right now. I'm gonna be there.
So, Han, are you teaching a class next week at the Expo? I haven't seen the whole run of the show.
No, I'm not actually teaching at this Expo, okay. But we do have. Not this year, correct. So, we'll probably put that in the works for a future course.
We don't have to wait for next year. We can just figure out. We can do a course with JP Morgan Chase with Hans. We can set it up and have some select few come on.
And we can collaborate, Hans. We can help showcase some of your winners from the program. We can talk about that. But you've done a lot of support, and so we appreciate that. But that's the other thing I think that works, the testimonials from those who've been through these programs and can say, this is what worked for me, and this was what I got out of it. Do you find a lot of people give back who've been through the program?
Oh yeah, absolutely, right. The goal is impact, and how do we create impact? By seeing the success of businesses that went through the program, but more importantly, seeing how they became raving fans of the program, sharing with their colleagues some of the success that they've had. In fact, I want to thank the Afro. You guys have interviewed a few of our mentees, right? As far as the results and the success they've had in the program. And that's what's important, right? How do we highlight minority businesses, bring them to the spotlight, let the world know what they're doing, right? And even us as a firm, we've highlighted some of our mentees through commercials. Some of our marketing have featured some of our mentees throughout the program, because we want to get them, out there, let the world know their business exists, and then for them to be able to further their support.
Afro's always been here for the good news.
Yeah.
Especially the good news in our community, right? Because if you let other media outlets tell it, we are only doing, might be about 3%. We're doing everything that could menace society, when it is so much more. The 97% of us are really thriving. They're really collaborating. They're really caring about their community. And the other media will sometimes focus on all the negatives. So that's why the Afro has been able to be here, because we're going to tell you about something good. Every now and then we just need to hear a little good news. Now, we might slap your hand if you act ignorant, but you know what I mean? But we're here mainly to talk about the Hans and the JP Morgan Chase, and just in the impact. People pay attention to people who, first of all, who you see with advertising, with people who look like you, people who decide to take a stake in your community. Spend your money with those companies.
Absolutely. I'm curious about your trajectory. You told us a little bit, and Courtney introduced you earlier. I saw a little bit of your bio, and I saw that you have so many years in the industry. Can you go back, roll it back a little bit, and tell us about your journey?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, right? And in the 80s, it was all about just family, right? But just to date it back, I grew up loving a show, right? Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Some of you may have. It just showed a different side of society where it's possible. If you do work hard, there's things you can accomplish. So I went to school to study finance because I wanted to know how money moves, right? The in and outs of it. And then I started with the insurance field. And over the years, I've been fortunate to work in private banking and business banking. and really get to meet so many different individuals and different businesses. You know, I tell my clients all the time, they think I'm teaching them, I'm learning from them. Because every conversation, I'm sitting down with 2 ears wide open to understand their processes. And over the years, all I've done is share those processes with not only our community, but the clients I serve, guide them and help them to the next level. So when we moved down to Baltimore 9 years ago, right, with a different firm. When the opportunity came to join JP Morgan, at that time, I wasn't honestly looking. But the opportunity sometimes is not our calling. And, you know, fast forward 4 years later, the opportunity opened up in Baltimore to be a servant to the community, to go out and teach businesses, right, how to scale, how to grow, how to create success, how to work as a community. And the beautiful thing is it's all free, right? So here we are, fast forward a year later, and we've graduated, if I'm correct, over 50 businesses here in Baltimore alone, right? And I get to share the success stories and highlight their success. For example, I know the Afro interviewed Jasmine, who is the first Black urban oyster in the country, right? I mean, that's phenomenal. And now she's opening up a location here in Baltimore. She's hiring within Baltimore. So that's success story that we want to have. And of course, we opened up a location in Cherry Hill, and of course, recently in West Baltimore. It's a community branch.
And we wrote that story as well.
Absolutely. So imagine in a community where the bank is saying, hey, come inside our branch and showcase your business.
You are in the places. You need to talk to some of your partners with these grocery stores. That's a whole nother conversation. Tell them that you coming in there, and they need to come on in there too, so we can get rid of some of these food deserts. But anyway, that's a whole nother show. If you just tuned in, this is Black People versus Small Business. We got the Black Business Matters, the 3rd annual coming up. We got JP Morgan Chase. I don't know why I want to say it backwards every time, but JP Morgan Chase as our sponsor. Maybe because I have a daughter named Morgan, who knows? But coming to be with us, not just putting their money up, they are putting their resources and their knowledge base up, and they're giving you something that you can take away. And if you saw, let me just remind you guys, do you think you could learn something from Dr. Jamal Bryant, something from Mayor Brandon Scott, something from Dr. Draper, something from Norma Hollis? Do you see these lists of people who are up here? If you could just learn one thing to help you in your business, it is all worth it. It is free, y'all. Somebody say free again, just in case y'all missed it earlier.
Free.
afrotix.live. Yep, we have sound effects now too. The show is really, really moving. All on streaming. We don't have to be in one location. We got Hans in Frederick. I'm in Atlanta. Courtney's in Chicago, and Dr. Draper's in Baltimore. April 27th. It is going down. So no matter where you are, you will be able to get this information. And if you can't make it, it will still be there for you to see at a later time. But we would love for you just to be there, because live, when we go, it's our first time trying this. It's going to be like broadcasting the stream, and we're going to just go right to a person remotely, and then we're going to come back in the room and be live. We got all of our technical partners setting up, and we're praying that it works, because this is information that counts.
So speaking of collaboration, MPeckable, that's a service I'm sure Hans would say collaboratively we could offer to somebody else. See, because a lot of times people look at a business like ours and don't think at first business. They think newspaper, they think content, they think information, but we also are a business. And so as you're talking, I'm thinking, okay, here's another revenue stream. We could work on helping people produce things like their own videos, and we can produce videos for them that we do for ourselves. A lot of times we do it internally, even though we did produce something for Hopkins and some couple of other people. So you just made me, I'm always thinking revenue, huh? I'm always thinking.
There you go, thinking outside the box.
But that's what I think about when I think about collaboration.
Yeah.
Well, I know you guys get into that, Hans. because you say you just got a nice happy plan if you're not making no money, right? What's the saying? If you have a business and it's not making no money, you just got an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Because you definitely want your Byron Dees. And I know Byron will be tuning in, and Byron, hit us up if you want a special invitation to come in and join us live next week, April 27th. Byron has been one of our number one fans and friends of the Afro since he's joined. I just want to give
and financial advisor. So I'm going to
financial advisor, right?
Financial advisor.
Hans meet Byron. Byron meet Hans. So you guys are.
Pleasure to meet you, Byron.
I'll reintroduce you at the Black Business Matters Conference next Thursday, God willing, April 27th. It's going to be phenomenal. If you're business minded, if you're entrepreneur minded, if you've been in business by yourself, trying to do everything by yourself, Hans said you are on your way to fail. You're on your way to fail, not scale. And we're trying to scale, not fail. So I like that. We scaling, y'all, not failing. Even if you scale it in your mindset, I was listening to something last night that you can scale your thoughts negatively or positively. It doesn't have to be in the business ship, but you can just scale how you think about the way you do business. Mm-hmm. You can scale about what your mindset is. And I think as entrepreneurs, being one who never wanted to open his hand to let anybody else help, it can hurt you from scaling because you think you have to do everything, because then when a person does it and they don't do it to your standard, you're like, I should have just done it myself. So after you do that, then you've scaled your mindset to, I should have just done it myself. And so you're doing everything yourself till you burn out. Speak to that real quick, Cons.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, burnout is real, right? And if we look within our communities, it's always the business owner opening the doors and staying late, closing the doors, right? We still have a time when it comes to us individuals. Like you want us, if you want to scale, you want to grow, you want to help others help you. So you're not burning out in your business, and you're building your business with stress, which can be detrimental to your health. And the hardest question a lot of businesses have to face is, what happens if I can't get up and go to work anymore? Right? So if you're building a business and you're thinking long term, and you're thinking growth, and you're thinking passing it on to generational wealth, what's the game plan? Do you have someone where you can take a day off or just take 2 weeks off, right? Just go relax. Can the business operate without you? Right? So as entrepreneurs, we want to think about that. Scaling is great, growth is great, but what's the game plan where if we step away from the business, will the wheels keep spinning?
Yep, counting the cost. And if you die, will the business keep going? Is there is there a viable succession plan? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, we can probably talk on that topic for years when it comes to what's the succession plan, right? Or are you building a business to eventually sell it in 2, 3, 4, 5 years? If so, what does that look like? Or are you building a business to hopefully pass on to the next generation? And what if the next generation don't want your business?
Well,
right. So what's the game plan
then? When you said that, it is a whole lot of businesses of first generation owners who are tired, right?
Yeah.
And so does JP Morgan Chase help with helping you acquire some of those businesses?
Yeah, through growth. Not only that, we partner with the SBA, and I also encourage everyone to look into the SBA resources. Right, look into your local chamber. We work closely with the Baltimore Chamber and the Black Chamber. We have lunch and learn events. Like, there's a lot of resources. Let's put it this way: resources is not lacking, regardless of what you're doing. If it's business related, you have resources, and majority of the time, those resources are free. You just have to take the responsibility as a business owner to take a few times, hour, 2 hours a day, and get to know these resources and see how they can be applied to your business.
Courtney, jump in. I know you burning with some questions.
Most definitely.
Gen Z stand up. I know Gen Z is starting a lot of businesses as well. Come on, talk to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious, like, what advice do you have for aspiring minority business owners? Like, I know everyone is looking for like mentorship and just like general guidance.
One advice one of my mentors told me many moons ago is don't be afraid to ask questions. All right. We saw it the last couple of years, there's been a lot of phenomenal businesses by millennials, whether it's online, they just have a knack to create significant revenue, right? Ask questions, right? Again, it goes back to that trust within the community. Walk into your SBA office or call your SBA office or walk into your local bank and just ask questions, ask for help. So the one advice I would always give is don't be afraid to ask questions.
And from your perspective, like what questions like should we be asking for like the guidance? Like what do you think I guess would help business owners? Like what should they be seeking?
So for example, one, when we go into business, we got to identify what that business is. Are we going down the road of a product-based business or a service-based business, right? So you got to think about what do you want and why are you starting this business, right? So that's the self-awareness. I'm starting this business because of X. I want to fulfill a need or I want to provide a service. Wonderful. Then the simple question could be, how do I get started, right? How do I get financing as a startup? Well, we'll sit down with you. We'll teach you on, you want to make sure you look at your personal credit, right? Personal credit is a huge impact driver when it comes to anything business related for capital. Are you paying attention to your personal credit? If so, wonderful. Are you doing it every 90 days to make sure there's no hiccups, right? Then you want to find out from your bank or whoever you're speaking to, what are the steps necessary to open up an account? This way I can separate my personal funds from my business funds, and how I can make it efficient enough at the end of the year when it comes to tax season to give my CPA a simple statement showing all my expenses and all my income, right? Just some basic questions you want to inquire about. Why are you in business? What's the goal of the business, right? And how do I get the business from point A to B? This way you get out of the perfection mindset, I call it, where you want to make sure every single thing is perfect before you attempt or make an effort to bring in your first client.
Good questions and good answers. I have one final question. Ooh, I'm looking at the time, so we're almost time to just get on the box. Can you segment for me what's the percentage of businesses that you would say are startups versus those who are 1 to 3 years or longer, and for your program, because we've talked a lot about startup businesses as well, but there are mature businesses as well that I'm sure come into your program as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some of the businesses that come in have a minimum of maybe 1.5, 2 years, and there's some with 10, 15 years in business. From a revenues perspective, I've seen some with 75,000 a year in revenue to as high as 25 million in revenue. All right. So I always encourage every single one, I welcome you the opportunity to inquire. Okay. Right. Where you are, we'll meet you where you are, and it will guide you to the right information.
And that's great. And it's also good to know, I'm sure, when I tell people this, you're never too old in business. I'm not talking about somebody's physical age. You're never too old to learn something. Because people who are outside of your business can look and see a whole different perspective than what you might see close up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Having a different perspective is helpful.
Yeah, because some people think they're too small, and then some people might think they're too big. But if they're under that $50 million mark, they're a small business.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in. I'm going to give another shameless plug to the Black Business Matters. This is the 3rd annual. We started in the pandemic. See, things that you can start in a pandemic that you didn't even know that you could start in the pandemic, right? And you could just, you can get it going. Who thought we would be like Zoom? Like who thought that we would be doing these things? But it was a problem and it was a solution that was given. And I want to listen. I am excited about this, not only for people who've been in business for a while, because you might not even, you've been in business for a while and you still could be doing it wrong, right? And wondering why you're not growing. But man, listen, this is for everybody. This is another promo. Man, you know, I don't know how many people got an Apple. I got a mouse that's going from my laptop to my laptop. But I want to play this one more time. Go to afrotix, T-I-X.
I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. And homie, if it seem you never see me, no, I'm working, I'm great, I'm trying to get straight. I just want you to be great. As the sunlight rises to meet us, another day rises to greet us. People, places, and things that tried to delete us couldn't beat us, couldn't be us, now they see us. I am not the twinkle on a brand new Breitling. I am the light shining when the night gets frightening. Truth to shock value, get your life on right swing, and I ain't no saint. I met Jesus at the pulpit, found God in self, decided not to forfeit. From life done right, done wrong, apologize. Done things that made it so hard to smile inside. I know you going through it, trust me, I know. We all coming from a memory, it's helping you grow. So get your back up, head high, shoulder square, get them squares out your circle, love until it overbears hate. Only you can get yourself into a better place. I want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. And homie, if it seem you never see me, no, I'm working, I'm great, I'm trying to get straight. I just want you to be great.
Wow.
Let me leave it on that. We at the Afro and JP Morgan Chase, we want you to be great. We like to thank all of our sponsors because, guys, it takes money to make money. And these are people who believe in you. They believe in your community. Comcast, United Way, Associated Black Charities, American Classic Agency, SBDC, AARP, Care First, Chase, of course. Thank you, Hans, for being with the Tedco, PNC, Wells Fargo, and a few others who have joined on to really make this a winning third annual Black Business Matters. We just want you to be great. Man, you just need one person to believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
At the Afro, we believe in you. We want you to be great because it makes the community great. You can't do good for somebody else until you're doing well for yourself. You can't help nobody if you ain't helped yourself yet. And everybody sometimes needs a little help. Then once you got that help, you're up, then you help somebody else up, and then we all get to the next level. We're going to get on the chicken box. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. We want you to be great. Courtney, you're on the box. Your truth about Black people, small business, or whatever is on your heart.
Sure thing. Hans, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for serving the minority community. I think it's very inspiring that you have a passion for helping out minority business owners and you genuinely want them to succeed. And I think it's great to be selfless and passionate about, helping businesses and other individuals just like grow and prosper. And lastly, I think we just need more selflessness and care in the world. So thank you for everything that you do.
Absolutely. Dr. Draper, you were on the box.
I also want to thank you so much for reminding us that we don't have a money problem. We don't have a resource problem. We really don't. But what we do have is an access problem. And so I want to thank you and your team for helping to bridge that gap, and JP Morgan Chase for stepping up to that. And representation matters. And so as I heard your story coming from representation absolutely matters. And so you've been here 9 years. I don't know where your next path is, but I thank you for what you do right here. And I hope that those who are watching now or later will take some time to just find out about this program, sign up. A lot of times we shy away because we say, I don't have time because I'm working in my business all the time. So we want to work on the business. That's for all of us. And because Black business does matter. We are a huge economic engine. we got to break through that 50 million mark, and very few of us have done that in comparison to other communities. So we have a lot of micro businesses, which is great, but we need some more businesses that can rise to the top to reach back and help those who are still climbing. So thank you for lifting as you climb.
Dr. Draper, were you looking through my screen? I read a new book called E-Myth, and I was about to say she's all on my box, y'all. That says he believes the entrepreneur myth states that most small business owners are technicians who are good at their trade but lack the skills and mindset to run a successful business. They're good at their trade, they're technicians, but they lack the skills, which doesn't mean they can't learn the skills. But while they're learning, they could probably build a team and collaborate, like with JP Morgan Chase. But he also said work just exactly what you said in the business. I mean, not in the business, but on the business. And that means just developing systems and processes that can be replicated and scaled rather than relying on the owner's individual skills and effort. I love that for those out there. You gotta keep learning. Whether you went to, they said most millionaires barely finish high school, but then it had nothing to do with what they learned in B school or in college. They had the will and the desire to go the extra mile, and that didn't mean that they didn't get the education. Right? They still got the education, and they still move forward. So I'm telling you, we want you to be great. Come meet Hans and some of the other power players who they're just willing to share, because that's on their heart to share, and that's part of the business of what they do. So I look forward to meeting you in person, Hans, and I'm gonna have to add me an account. I got a couple banks, but I need a Chase account now. We can talk about that offline, brother. You are on the box. You are now on the box, brother.
Absolutely, Courtney, Dr. Draper, MPeckable. Just thank you, right? I want to thank not only for the work that you're doing, as well as the Afro for being resilient. Over 100+ years is resilient. Right, highlighting the businesses and the positive we spoke about within the communities. But I also want to thank all the business owners, the entrepreneurs out there. Keep going, because your success is giving light to someone behind you. You may not see it, you may not notice it, but I guarantee you someone is watching. Prove them you can be resilient. Prove to them that you can be successful. And then that's how new businesses start, new ventures. So wherever you are, keep going, right? I always say, reward yourself with a small success. If you got a new client today, tap yourself in the back, tap your team in the back, right? If you got a new contract, whatever it is, reward yourself. If you decide to get into business, reward yourself. Okay? So I want to say thank you. I welcome anyone to reach out to us. We'll be here to support and guide you in the right directions.
Go to the website now, y'all. I'm telling you, it's a resource that many of us didn't have or didn't know existed. April 27th, go to afrotix.live. Register for you, your girlfriend, your boy, your homeboy, the person who's always trying to sell you something. All of them people say you don't support my business. Is it a business? I mean, come on. Is it really a business, or are you just trying to get me to support something? Let me know. We're going to find out if Black Business Matters. And remember, call a senior, because they're looking forward to hearing from you. Don't text them. I keep telling you that. They have smartphones because you gave them one usually. But don't text them. Call them, even if it's for a few minutes. You'll be surprised of the difference it makes. And you can smile. That is the first line of action of if you're an entrepreneur. If you go into a networking meeting, you'll be surprised of who you will attract and who you will meet by just smiling when you come in the room. So those coming in person at Black Business Matters on April 27th, I will be there smiling. I will be your ambassador of smiles, okay? So look for me. I'm going to be there, and I can't wait to this year's Black Business Matters. Until next week, God willing, we will see you. I don't think we will have Chicken Box next week.
Nope.
Because we'll be at the Black Business Matters conference. I'm
right,
sorry.
and it's virtual, so you log in, but don't log in at noon. wait till 4 p.m. Eastern.
4 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm there. See you later, Hans.
Thank you.